After nearly 3 weeks of sideways squeezing and squinching, Bitcoin has decisively broken out and continues to the downside. But will Bitcoin continue breaking out to the downside all the way down here? And with the DXY also continuing to drop alongside Bitcoin, and the stock market potentially forming a mega bearish double top as well, how could this affect Bitcoin? Let's get dumped on. I am your host, Samuel Sludge, and even though I'm not a financial advisor, I would recommend that you buy a raincoat for all of this dumpiness. Absolutely insane, guys. So we have a lot to be getting into. After nearly 3 tedious weeks, Bitcoin is finally making a decision, but this is the giant moment. Are we actually going to continue here as we've been currently bouncing on this Fibonacci support? Are we going to continue here and continue all the way down to the breakdown target, which we're going to be talking about in this video? Or in fact, with symmetrical triangles like we very often see, the first real break is actually pretty commonly a fake out. So will we be seeing a reversal? But there are some ominous signs outside of crypto that no doubt will play a role in the coming months, and we're going to be taking a look into that as well. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on absolutely time-sensitive alerts, and without any further ado, let's dump on in. So guys, before we jump into the Bitcoin technical analysis, there is something very, very evident and potentially alarming shaping up in the stock market, okay? So a double top is an extremely bearish technical reversal pattern that forms after an asset reaches a high price 2 consecutive times with a moderate decline between the two highs. It is confirmed once the asset's price falls below a support level equal to the low between the two prior highs. For example, this is that support area here, and if the asset would fall below this and then fail to get above it, that is just like the ultimate confirmation that yes, that was a double top pattern, and we could be in for much more dumpiness in terms of a double top. So for example, on this chart, what a double top would look like here, if we are in fact going to see something like that, would be falling below this level here. Basically right above 4,000, about 4,050 on the SPX, S&P, but again, a lot of this is happening throughout the broader stock market. You know, we go below that. Let's say we come down all the way to, I don't know, 3,800, 3,900 even, and then bounce back up, and then again get rejected here. Again, that is already at that point, it's confirmed, but that's like an ultimate confirmation that, yeah, that's very, very bearish. So that's what that would look like on this chart. And the reason I bring this up is because, as many of you know, whether or not Bitcoin is correlated to the stock market right now is potentially up for debate. But in the past, historically, it is very much the case that there have been at least some correlation. And again, Bitcoin, for the most part, has existed in a pretty bullish stock market. If we go all the way back, okay, we put this on a monthly scale, and then we go back. This was back in March of 2020, so that was the crash that Bitcoin also majorly crashed in. But more importantly, if we go back to the crash back in 2008, Bitcoin was essentially created here, okay? So with that in mind, Bitcoin was created here. And we've not really had any significant drawdowns in the stock market aside from March of 2020, which we saw also with Bitcoin. But for the most part, Bitcoin was created here. And for the most part, Bitcoin has existed only in a very, very bullish stock market environment. And Bitcoin has had arguably bullish and bear markets, although you could also argue that Bitcoin has just been in a decade-long bull market with evident multi-year bear trends. But the point is, Bitcoin has existed pretty much in a relatively healthy, or at least pumpalicious stock market. Who knows if it's healthy? Probably not. And for years, people have been calling for a crash, a very big correction in the stock market, and we just haven't gotten it. So again, I'm not saying that we have gotten it, but this is a scenario that is something incredibly interesting to play out, because if we would get a very big decisive move to the downside and then a longer term confirmation here, again, like I just said, let's say something like this, where we get confirmed rejection off of this and continue down like that, I mean, what kind of environment would Bitcoin be in that scenario? That is an absolutely trillion-dollar question right there. But on to Bitcoin, we've obviously now broken out of this triangle that's been going on ever since May 19th, so almost 3 entire weeks now. So this is our very most decisive move breakout, and it's been to the downside. Now, so far we have bounced on our first Fibonacci level right about 30, right above 34,000 is where we've held so far. Total breakdown target all the way down here, again, right around 30,000 US dollars. So we could get a really nice breakdown of this target of this pattern, and it would still be very likely to hold at 30,000. And before we go any further, let's just take a moment and zoom out here because 30,000 is a gigantic Fibonacci level as well. We spent months testing that for support before blasting up to 65,000. But 30,000 is that massive level. What level is after 30,000, right? What level of support comes after 30,000? Looking on this chart, there's nothing until 20,000. 20,000, obviously, we spent a few months before we broke out to 30 and 40,000, but it was also the previous all-time high of the last market. So realistically, 30,000 is very strong, and if 30,000 breaks, which we have yet to see happen, if 30,000 would break, then again, the only real level of support is actually 20,000 US dollars. Am I saying that's going to happen, or am I saying that that's what I think is going to happen? No, absolutely not. However, I mean, obviously it's worth bringing the topic up, and it's also obviously worth talking about and mentioning as well. But yeah, if we go to let's take a look at the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. Again, we bounced right at this fib level here, which is just really important. So far, it has not gone below that. But again, one of the main topics that I want to talk about is with these breakouts, a lot of the times we do see swings the opposite direction. So what I'm looking at more for confirmation to see this actually continue dropping is if we break 32,000. If we break 32,000, then I think it's very likely we're going to go at least to 30,000, and that'll be the massive test to see if we actually get a massive return to volume here. Because again, looking on this chart here, guys, the volume has been just absolutely very, very low. You see within the last few hours, we've finally gotten slightly more volume compared to everything else. But I mean, pretty much for the past few weeks, it's just been downside action in terms of the volume. And if we actually go to the daily chart, you can see that very, very well here. This was the May 19th, 30,000 crash. And yeah, volume's just been getting lower and lower since then, trending to the downside. But again, this comes after pretty much getting yet another rejection right at the 21 DMA, right around 37,000 US dollars, which is today, where we got very close to it and essentially got rejected. So again, the 21 daily moving average is just so absolutely critical for being in a bullish trend, at which time we are not at all in a bullish trend because we failed again the 21 day. I mean, almost every technical indicator, actually, if you go through them one by one, all of them on the short term, Bitcoin is failing every single one of them in terms of resistance, in terms of these moving averages, pretty much everything. And as well, altcoins doing no better. Altcoins in general just pretty much collapsing as well, or just, following Bitcoin. These altcoins are not going to be breaking out majorly to the upside, with Bitcoin falling dramatically. And as well, we have the 21 going below the 50-day here on this entire altcoin market cap chart, and we're actually getting ready to form a bearish cross here as well, very identical to the one that we saw with Bitcoin just a few days ago back here at the very last day of May. So actually exactly a week ago was here, this bearish cross, and yeah, Bitcoin is just very much getting rejected at these key levels. But the crazy thing to note is, I mean, technically at this point still, as I'm recording this video, and this could change at any moment, which is why why I first talked about all those other scenarios, at this exact moment, as I'm recording this video, Bitcoin is still holding at critical levels, okay? We had the initial low, this low here, we have this low right around 33,000, and so far, it has come down not quite to that level. So again, we're getting that little bit of a bounce here. On this daily chart, you can see we have not had daily candle closes below like 34,000. Okay, if we got to close exactly where we are right now, it would be our lowest daily close of this entire cycle. Okay, so if we got to close here, this would be the lowest close, I mean, pretty much since we started this massive drop here, and it would be a very, very big bearish continuation signal. So, I mean, over the next few hours, if we continue to close here, again, it looks very likely that we're just going to continue this breakdown and really give it a shot to see if this can be a double bottom pattern. Okay, we talked about that double top pattern, which is a bearish pattern. Double bottom patterns are actually bullish. And it remains to be seen yet because we cannot actually get a confirmation on that until we would actually revisit 30,000 US dollars. And as well, another narrative that I heard talked about a lot that I'm not seeing anyone talk about right now is a dead cat bounce. And again, that's a bearish argument because if, for example, Bitcoin was able to, let's say, breach above this 21 day back here just a few days ago, and let's say ride all the way up to 42 or 45 or 46,000 US dollars, a lot of people were targeting that to then say, okay, we swing up that high and then we fall back down. Okay, so it's a bearish argument within a bullish move. So we see a bullish move, but in a bearish context, it's actually very bearish. Okay, we just continue down after a nice pump, but we never got that. So we're not really seeing that argument play out. Instead, we've just seen massive sideways accumulation and more dumpiness. But again, at this very second, the dumpiness has not become overwhelming enough to be very convincing. It's not very convincing just yet. Okay, like I just said, breaking 33,000 and 32,000 definitely, then yes, it's a massive bearish confirmation. But I mean, over the last few weeks, we have not been able to do that. And now we're at a position now where we're actually breaking out of this triangle. And if there's ever a point where it can actually get bearish enough to break 32 and revisit 30K, and then have the ultimate question answered right there. Are we going to break 30K or are we going to potentially head to 20K? We won't know that until what I think is now, because now we're finally getting this move out of this pattern. We've been waiting for a momentum confirmation to where we would actually have enough power to shift us either up or down, because everyone's just been waiting for some sort of move. Now we're actually at the position where we can decide, okay, we're breaking out. If it's going to happen, it needs to happen right now. Oh, so if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn notifications, absolutely time-sensitive alerts. Make sure to get your hardware wallets in the description below to keep your crypto safe, whether you're storing it for a few months or whether you're storing it for years to come. The best money-making play guaranteed. But without any further ado, that is it for me. Bye-bye.